This is how it is. This is how it is.
Yeah, I prefer Mephisto's version. Mephisto does it so much better. Nobody does it better. So Mephisto is doing his show right now. I hope he can pop in. We haven't seen him in a little bit, and I like hanging out with him. He's my buddy. Speaking of buddies, we have a birthday buddy here today. We do. He's this many years old today. Happy birthday to you. You're this many. I like that artwork, but I got to tell you, as much as I like that guy's art, Dan Stevens is just so. It's like everybody tried to emulate Dan Stevens' artwork for the from his original book, but it still just was never quite the same. And of course, people don't know this. Dan Stevens, of course, died young. Like so many artists that I'm a fan of, like Richard Amzell died young. He died in the 80s. He was one of the, not the first, clearly, but he was one of the first celebrities to die from full-blown AIDS. And it's sad. So we got some people in the chat. We got Gambit. Man, you better be careful. Google's going to fucking hit you for spamming with some of your posts, dude.
Oh, remember when Bush had chat asthma on YouTube?
Oh my God, yeah.
Gambit has that coming.
Gambit, you need to be careful with your constant posting, because I got to tell you, man, Bush got hit with that shit. And how many? He was only like allowed to do 3 words at a time.
No, 10 letters.
10 letters. Oh my God, he was so frustrated.
It lasted long too, over a week.
Oh yeah. He's like, "What did I do?" I'm like, "I fucking don't know." But Google got a hard on for you. Of course, I did address this in the chat, because when the Rocketeer began in 1990, where is it? Where was it? Because I saw it when it popped up. Flopped, and it did not. Whoever wrote that Gambit was wrong. It did not flop. It did not meet expectations of the studio, specifically of Eon Productions. And what ended up happening after that, the reason why it took so long to get to the next Bond film, is because of the war between Eon Productions and MGM.
Because they had a certain movie set up for him, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Because they fought over it.
And it's rumored to have been in the services of a lady, and which is one of the Bond stories. But ended up 3 major elements from that script got broken up and put into the Pierce Brosnan films. But I will tell you that the other problem was it took so long that they would have to have a new contract with Timothy Dalton. And Dalton knew that if he signed the new contract with them, that he would be stuck to doing the character for another 5 to 10 years. He just wanted to do one more film. That's it. Do your 3 and get out. He couldn't do that. And so he chose to just leave. He was not fired. He was not replaced. He chose not to renew his contract because they did want him back. He was a good Bond.
Yeah, he could have, absolutely. But his contract was over like for about a year when they finally settled and were able to do another one. And he just didn't want to get stuck with the role for life. So.
Exactly. So it was, the budget on that thing was only like, 32 million. And the box office for it was 156.1 million. So that's by most standards, that's a hit. But by their standards, it was not. So what they were going to do is they're going to try to make some changes for the next film. The problem was with Timothy Dalton was he's not the right actor for doing the cheeky humor. He's not. He's, you know, he's got piercing lupine face and eyes, and he was really good at the drama. And so they would have to really kind of dig into it. And so they had this great idea for a story, and I've read it. It's really good. And you can see where three of the major elements from the script ended up in Pierce Brosnan films. And it's just sad we never got any more. So we got Keely Chow. What's up, buddy?
With a breach, no less.
Really? All right. Hey, man, pull up those breeches. So we got Keely Chow here. We got. I thought I heard someone else pop in. Did I see Penny? Penny is here.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay. We have. Here is your video.
Please seek assistance at the rear entrance of the building.
And of course, Gambit's here. 11 Alpha, my good buddy, U.S. Army.
And we have Black Ass. Well, Almighty Black Ass.
Almighty Black Ass. The Almighty Black Ass is here. Who else is here? Am I getting everybody? Did I get everybody? Yeah. Gambit, Penny, 11 Alpha, Keely Chow, Sasha Fred. Almighty nice Black Ass. And so, to get into some of the history of this is Joe Johnston was not a stranger to high budget action adventure films, because anybody who's a true Star Wars fan should know who Joe Johnston is. I will show you. I had his books on my fucking bookshelf, and I broke them out all the time because I loved his artwork. He is the artist of the Star Wars sketchbook. You can check him out. Just great artwork. Look at this stuff that he drew. This was originally the Millennium Falcon, which is why the cockpit is facing forward on that. Yeah, when you see these drawings with the cockpit facing forward instead of like Princess Leia's hair buns aiming out to the side, little window in the front, that's still the Millennium Falcon. So he did a lot of these cool sketches. He could do them pretty quickly. They would come to him and he would like do a sketch. I guarantee you, this probably took him about 30 minutes to do that drawing, the way he draws. Hey, we need a drawing. And they go to him. But they needed someone like Joe Johnston because Joe Johnston would give them a better idea of what it will look like sculpted, put together. And of course, Joe Johnston also returned for The Empire Strikes Back and did some amazing sketches. I love these, man. And when I look at this, you can actually probably see a little bit of the way I draw in some of my own artwork. Very simplified character drawings. That one was really cool. That was one of the early ideas. And I think that design ended up going to the the A-Wing, right?
No.
Because when you see it in Return of the Jedi, there's a fighter, snub fighter like that.
Yeah, I know the A-Wing, but this is a modified Y-Wing cockpit.
And it was basically, this is one of the early ideas for the Snowspeeder. But that design is the better design. And by the way, I've been keeping up on some prop makers, and this guy, he just put the servos into the neck for Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker inside the Snowspeeder model he's got. The Snowspeeder model is about, it's about a foot wide and about a foot in length, a little further because of the blaster. And the head, Mark Hamill head turns.
Nice.
And it's got the things flip up and it's got the lights in the engine. Oh man, it's beautiful.
The Snowspeeder is my favorite Star Wars design, even more than the X-Wing.
Now, this is something that I've always said was stolen from Sid Mead, because Sid Mead designed the first walkers for Chrysler. There are concept paintings that he did, and I absolutely believe they stole from it. That drawing, that's just storyboarding, man. But Joe Johnston is no stranger to these kinds of movies, man. And so he would go on to work on this film. Now, the movie, of course, is based on the 1982 comic series that was eventually put into a single book called The Rocketeer by Dan Stevens. And a beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I've always been a big fan of that book. I read it when it came out. And but there were some massive changes by the time they got to it. And by the way, there was an attempt at making the movie back in '84, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the guy who directed two of the Friday the 13th, and he directed House with William Catt, the Ghost, the Haunted House movie.
Miner. Steve Miner.
Yeah, Steve Miner. And he was going to try to do it, and he wanted to do it fully low budget. And then another director came in later and started working on what would become this version. And he wanted to shoot it very low budget and in black and white as an homage to what inspired the comics by Dan Stevens. Here you go. This is, of course, Commando Cody, as well as King of the Rocketmen. This is actually Commando King of the Rocketmen right here. And they did some cool shit for those early days back in the late 40s going into the 50s. And he shoots this thing with his little ray gun, this rocket, and it blows up and knocks him out for a second. This is cool shit, man, for 1948, 1952. Wake up, man. You're going to die. Yeah, the dials thing was not a good idea.
Nope.
I like the way they did it with the Rocketeer with a single button. Then this is, of course, Commando Cody. That's Commando Cody right there. And these are public domain, so fuck YouTube. You can't, nobody can claim us on these. So fuck off.
And here's a YouTube bot saying, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, right.
I love the way they did rockets back then, man. It looked really cool. Those giant penis rockets.
Oh my God.
And there's the fetish again. You never disappoint.
They're phallic.
Okay, now you just need a clip from Austin Powers.
Cocky duty car. I like that movie, Misery. Healy chest, suck it, YouTube. So we see him climb up now. He puts his gear on, and it's basically the same fucking outfit that King of the Rocketmen wore. Yeah, who designed those ports? I'm very smart.
Who designed that helmet?
Again, great miniature work in this. And he climbs out, gets up on top, and then takes a running leap. And this is almost reminiscent of the final battle on top of the Zeppelin. Of course, that's rear screen projection, leaps off, and yee! shit, man. I have these. I actually watch these. I go to sleep and wake up to these old theatrical serials. I've got the original Batman movies, the two of them, and Kirk Allen's Superman. Got these. I got both of the Green Hornet serials. So and that's it. That was pretty nifty, and that's what inspired Dave Stevens with doing the Rocketeer. Now, the Rocketeer was not written for kids. Kids loved it, but it was not written for kids because Betty, his girlfriend in the comics, was based on Betty Page, a pinup model known for her amazing fucking assets. Hairstyle, everything was clear. She had big old noggins and a huge ass rump roast.
And she wasn't exactly the most faithful of girlfriends.
No, she was constantly like she was like kind of naive at one point, or other times she was kind of like, considering stepping out on him. So Secord in the books is not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I think that, I gotta be honest, I think that Disney's involvement cleaned it up to where they could have a family-friendly adventure. And I have to say, I kind of appreciate it because I never liked her character in the comics. I thought she was just kind of, She's always wearing risque outfits and shit and posing, talking to him on the phone, and she's sitting with her. The only thing on her tits are her arms resting on him as she's on the phone. I didn't like that, I think that what they did, changing her name, as well as who she was, that she's an actress trying to make it, gave her actually more of a point in the story of because your villain is a fucking movie star, based loosely on Errol Flynn. And Errol Flynn, of course, was not a Yahtzee sympathizer. He was all-American. He's from England, but he was an all-American guy. He served in the what was that?
Air Force, was it?
No, it was he served overseas in the conflict over in Spain. And he went over there to get laid, is really what he went there for. And he ended up in a little bit of a war and then left. So it wasn't like he wasn't, had some courage. He had some steel, but he was no Yahtzee. But then you've also got an amazing cast of other characters, including Terry. I just forgot his name. I almost said Terry Leonard as Howard Hughes in the film.
Oh, that casting was awesome, man.
Terry O'Quinn.
Terry O'Quinn, thank you. Terry O'Quinn was like one of my favorite actors in the 80s. He was in this movie called The Stepfather. And I immediately was like, oh, who is this guy? He's so good. And just a damn
Star
fun
Trek
actor.
too?
What?
Didn't he do Star Trek?
He was in Star
Yes.
Trek. But,
Yeah, that's how I know his name.
Oh. So you've got all these characters in there based off of all these different things. You get the villain based off of Errol Flynn, and you've got a guy playing a fictionalized version of Howard Hughes. And I thought they did a massively good job of putting this together. Of course, Danny Bilson, Paul DeMeo, and William Deere were the guys in charge of the story, getting the story written out. And but what's funny is William Deere was brought in to do a last-minute rewrite on the script, and he went through it and basically like, this is a perfect script. There's really nothing I can do to this, and so he still gets credit for helping with it, but he isn't listed on as the screenplay writer. He's listed as the guy working on the story. So, and of course, it was created by Dave Stevens, who I don't know if you guys have ever looked at his artwork. I fucking love the work he did. And like I said, he died back in 2008. I can't remember what he died of. Anybody remember, or do I need to go? Never mind. In 1980, Stevens married longtime girlfriend Charlene Brinkman, later known as horror film scream queen Brink Stevens, or Brinky Stevens.
Nice.
Their marriage ended in divorce just 6 months later, though she later modeled for Stevens. Following several years of struggling with uncommon hairy cell leukemia, which caused a gradual reduction in his artistic abilities, Stevens died on March 11th, 2008 in Turlock, California. And he loved, if you ever look at his portfolio, there's a lot of cheesecake in there.
Meaning?
A lot.
Okay.
Girls,
Oh,
partially nude. He loved drawing sexy girls. Well, yeah, Millennium is another good show, by the way, 11F. I'm glad you brought that up. I love that show, and I don't like the way it got ended. This is, again, one of my complaints about Fox. They absolutely make all the promises in the world and then absolutely feel no guilt when they just renege on every agreement they made. They're a terrible, terrible studio network. Yeah, look, first of all, Peavy in the book and Peavy in the film are pretty much the same animal. And I love the way he says Clifford over enunciates the R's. Clifford. I love Alan Arkin's way of doing the voice on that character. It's great.
I love it when he puts the helmet on for the first time and asks him, how do I look like? And he says, like a hood ornament.
Hood ornament. Yeah, like a hood ornament. And of course, you know, they establish this is the GBZ monoplanes that were very popular. They were used for racing mostly as time went by because they had such powerful engines in them. But they established right off the bat, one, his attire, two, the chewing gum thing, which back then you had Chiclets and Beecham gum, and I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically like a non-commercial version or fake version of Beecham gum. And they had this tradition of sticking gum on the outside. And it ends up paying off later. Yeah, for good luck. But later it pays off because it's what seals the gas. And then it sets up the finale.
B-mans is what they call it in the movie.
B-mans. That's it. B-mans. Yeah. Brimstone, I was just talking about this because Peter Gabriel wrote the theme song for that show. And it was what would later be brought back as Grimm, I think was the name of it, where the kid has to collect souls for the devil. It's a comedy that was on the CW. And it was actually pretty good. And then it was brought back again recently and failed, sadly, with Kevin Bacon as a bounty hunter for the devil. It was good. That was a good show. I don't know why it failed. But Slasher Fred, I love that show too. It's on the list of things to watch with Anima because I want her to see that show. And again, Peter Gabriel wrote the fucking theme song to that show, Brimstone. Same year as Mel Brooks' underrated movie, Life Stinks, and he would later spoof The Adventure of Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights, which was spoofing Robin Hood, The Adventures of Robin Hood. I didn't know that. I know there's another actor in this movie that ends up in Star Trek playing, I think, Nod or Nog. It's Quark's brother on Deep Space Nine. Ooh.
I must admit, I have never seen Ron without the makeup. So
Is that his name? Rom? I couldn't remember his name.
R-O-M, Rom. Because Nog was Rom's kid.
Okay. Been a long time since I watch it. Yeah, it's Max Grodenchik, and he plays the gangster who ends up in the hospital after hiding the rocket in their plane. The monoplane design is such a weird one. The early one, I do like this. Bullet hits the fucking oil and sprays up on the windshield, so he's got to break the fucking windshield. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Yeah, Max.
Oh yes, he's the one who's stolen the rocket.
Yeah, and he hides it.
And he ends up in the hospital.
Now, I got annoyed because we also watched Minty today. 10 things you didn't know about this movie, and every single thing he said I knew. In fact, I knew stuff that he didn't know, which I thought was funny as shit because it's.
Oh, sometimes he's just full of shit. I mean, the first thing he brings up is it's based on a comic book. Duh, everyone knows that.
No shit, really?
That should not be on a 10 things you didn't know list. That's embarrassing.
No,
don't get me wrong. I love Minty, but he's not funny. His jokes are terrible.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that don't know this is based on a comic book.
Yeah, I would say that, but the one thing that bugged me was that, and now I got distracted by you guys commenting what I was going to say as to what he forgot. What did I correct him on, Anima?
Not knowing who somebody is. I don't really remember. He said he doesn't even know who that is, but.
Oh my God, we have 6!
6 with a $10 super sticker? Of course, that's for Anima. She's busy. She works in the medical field.
What is it? The super sticker?
I don't know.
It's Shiba Inu hugging a heart.
Oh.
Okay, there we go.
That's for all of us. We miss you, 6.
Well, I see her on Twitter too. Listen, buddy.
Give her a video.
Yes, of course. What video would be something?
And there's another great character actor in this too. Is one of the guys that plays the an FBI agent.
Okay, for 6, we have this video.
What's the secret?
I don't dare tell you.
No meat. You don't eat meat.
I masturbate a lot.
Okay, I think.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. He mentions this guy that's going to torture him and kill him later, and he made some off the wall comment that he was made up to look like something, and I'm like, no. The guy is made to look like Rondo, which anybody who's a fan of horror knows who Rondo is because they have an award, a horror award, in his name.
Was it, yeah.
And let me pull that up because Rondo was a real person. And it was named after Rondo Hatton, a classic horror movie actor who died young. He suffered from, and originally when the press released information, they said that he had a form of elephantitis that he got from being exposed to mustard gas during World War I. The fact is, he was a combat veteran of World War I, but he was actually a very handsome guy. And then a disease that occurs late in life called acromegaly. And people who've abused certain hormones can get it too. Like Arnold has a hint of it. Another guy that suffered from it horribly is Andre the Giant. And acromegaly is rough on the body, and it took his normal shaped face and just turned it into this monstrous face. I'm trying to find a good picture of him here.
His jaw got so big.
Let me open it up here.
He didn't have the cure back then because it's caused by a tumor, a benign tumor. So if you take that out in time, it doesn't get that bad. But there's also medications now. But back then they didn't have all that. So there wasn't much he could do.
Hello, Sander.
Hi, Sander. And it really disfigures people horribly.
So let me pull this up real quick here. It's not going to let me. I've got to remove that first. So here we go. This is Rondo Hatton right here. You can see him standing here. They put padding on him to make him look bigger in the shoulders. But he was a tall guy, but he had that crazy exaggerated face. You can see right here. And he at one time was really just a normal looking guy, good looking, handsome. But he got acromegaly in his 30s and it deformed him. And these were statues that were used in one of the films he was in. And they ended up recreating those statues in miniature. And that is what is given out now as the Rondo Award for Horror, Excellence in Horror. So there it is, the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards. And it's a prestigious one, man. So what Rick Baker did in this film was he created makeup just like he would do later with Ed Wood, making what's his name from Space 1999 and Mission Impossible look like Bela Lugosi. And he created this prosthetic makeup mask. And it's really well used. He looks like Rondo Hatton. And there he is, the guy on the left there. And he is like, a lot of people are fans of his work because, like Terry O'Quinn, he's an actor that you would see in a lot of movies. And we lost him only a few years back, is Ed Lauder. And Ed was in the X-Files. God, he was in everything. Great freaking actor. One of the best known roles that he played was in a little movie, The Longest Yard, with Burt Reynolds. He was one of the guards that gets his ass handed to him on the football field. I mean, they beat the shit out of him in that movie. Yeah, Martin Landau. Thank you, Sander.
Yes.
He is absolutely one of the greatest character actors of his period of time. And Terry O'Quinn just nails it as Howard Hughes. Rebuild it. The way he delivers that line, rebuild it. He says it so incredulously. Yeah. She was also in Ed Wood. She plays the girl that Ed Wood thinks is going to finance the film. And she's gorgeous, by the way. She has,
in a weird way,
she has a facial structure of Landau with the eyes and mouth and nose of her mother, Barbara Bain. Hey, Andy's here. Andy Masterson. What's up, buddy? By the way, Anima, you want to tell everybody how many views we've already had in just one day for yesterday's episode?
Over 470. And none of us would have thought that with John Carter.
I never expected that. I figured it would get a handful of people to watch it. Surprises me. It's like the one we did just a little over a month ago is already at 1.4 thousand, which was Play Dirty with Michael Caine.
Yeah. Well, we also had over 40 live viewers at almost all times. And that is, I mean, Fridays are usually good, but it was really good. So people wanted to see this. And I'm glad we did it.
Oh, absolutely, Sasha Fred. That's exactly what it is. But you know what? I still enjoyed the movie. I watched it with my daughter, and I was like, it wasn't too bad.
Okay. According to 11 Alpha, the viewership was because of the puns.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
It was all Bush's and your doing. Gotcha.
Doesn't matter what we do here.
And of course, I'm hoping again that Mephisto drops in. I love the practical design on this rocket because it's such a nod to the rockets used in those serials back in the late 40s, early 50s.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, I love the brushed metal. I don't see any moving parts. Pushes the fucking button.
And wrecks the whole hangar because that thing just goes off. He's such a daredevil.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Yeah.
I haven't seen any of those. Yeah, that thing just wrecked the whole hangar. And what did he want to do with it? Put it on. Crazy.
Yeah, put it on, but do not start it.
And just by the way, that was Sean Connery's first starring role in Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
I know he's clever enough to try it on a dummy first, but I wouldn't even touch that thing. After.
And by the way, Ian Fleming did not want Sean Connery because he did not like Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Oh.
Another little Blade Runner nod here.
The Ennis house.
He lives in the Ennis Brown house. A studio version of it. This isn't the actual.
No. It was shot in the actual house.
I thought they reconstructed it at the studio.
Yes, I thought the same, but last night I went to research about it, and yes, even Blade Runner was shot inside.
No,
the
exterior. House. No, the exterior was shot at the Ennis Brown house when he pulls in through the gate, because that's the actual gate. But once they went inside, that was at the studio in London. And but I do like this because I paused here for a reason, because like Blade Runner, you see a piano with a bunch of photographs sitting on top of it, just like in Deckard's apartment in Blade Runner. And by the way, I like Paul Sorvino in this. He is really good as the gangster.
I like how in all of these kinds of movies, there's always this gangster, and you're never quite sure why the gangsters are working with the villain. Let's take, for example, Commando Cody. You've got these guys from outer space, radar men from the moon, right?
Right.
And they have like these gangsters working for them who are just like regular, like thugs. What? Why?
It's just weird, man.
It's fun, you know? I'm not dumping.
And what I do like about this is they think that this is some sort of conspiracy to commit a big heist or some shit. But when they when they find out later what's really going on, and he turns to me and goes, "What's he talking about?" And then he gets angry. He says, "I might be a crooked, gangster, but I'm all American."
Yeah.
Not going to help no Yahtzee. And that is actually based on history. Did you know that? Do any of you guys know that about gangster?
No. Yeah. I don't.
Because in the United States, when we had problems during World War II at the docks in New York, where we were afraid we were going to get infiltrators, do you know who policed those docks? The mob.
No.
They worked directly with the FBI to police the docks and make sure no Yahtzees came into the country. Yeah, Luciano, Lucky Luciano. That's correct, Solacesso. I'm so glad I've got other people that know this shit. So yeah, absolutely. They really did feel that way. It's like, I might be a dirty, crooked guy, but I'm all American. And a lot of those guys that were of age served.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
That is exactly how he got early parole. Yes, Soul Assassin. I talk about that shit in that little mini series that came out that was about Meyer Lansky, even though I think they changed his name in the mini series to Meyer Lasker for legal reasons, because he was still alive when they made it. But it was a great little thing. It had Lucky Luciano, Bugsy Siegel, and Meyer Lansky in it. It was a good miniseries. This is one of my favorite moments, and where you just see this little dot moving behind him as it's coming towards him. Where do you think it went?
It was a stupid idea to fix it to the ground like that. Of course, they wouldn't hold it. The thing is power.
Hit the button. So yeah, I've never read that one, but I love Jack Higgins' work, dude.
Yeah, then he picks it up and looks at it and says,
That
I think
was
we need
it.
a helmet.
That was it right there, Slasher Fred. On Minty's video, he says a villain that looks like he came right out of Dick Tracy, which came out the year after. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's Rondo Hatton. It was a huge nod to one of the biggest villain actors of the 40s, who was in one of my favorite Sherlock Holmes adaptations with Basil Rathbone, which they called, I think it was called The 10 Pearls or The Pearls, which is based on the 6 Napoleons. And Rondo Hatton is the killer in that story.
And we have that Wolfing in the house.
Hi, John.
There it is. Huh. Nobody can say anything about him bringing up a penis? It's okay if he does it, but if I say something...
Yeah, because he doesn't do it all the time.
You're fixated.
I'm fixated on explaining things, Lucy.
Especially about penis.
Yes, Eagle Has Landed is on our list, by the way, Alpha. It will be on either the next week or the following week. We're going to be doing Eagle Has Landed. Oh, wait. No. That's the one we already did. What's the one where Eagles Dare is the one I was thinking of. But yes, Eagle Has Landed. We did that one. About 2 months back, 3 months back, something like that.
Let me check.
Yeah, I'm already in there right now. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
I'll find it. So let me go to live and then use the in-channel search.
I'm glad we got that back.
And I don't know, I think did it have good numbers too? No, it's only got 313 views, but yeah, we did The Eagle Has Landed
That's
3 months ago. 3 months ago. Yeah, it's moderate range. Yeah, backdoors, definitely, Keely. Hey, Lady Mist is here.
Hello, Lady Mist.
Yes, and remember, guys, Stephen just had his big birthday. He's this many years old, and so don't forget to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, come on, Gambit. You could do better. That's not going to get you a video. It just says backdoor, backdoor. It's lazy.
Echo, backdoor. I'm afraid, baby, you are incorrect. It will get him a video.
Oh, you're so easy to please.
It's a rule. No, I didn't say anything.
Be thankful.
And you were in deep, absolutely the deepest...
Shit, Ma.
I don't like that language, but that's exactly what you're going to be in. And you, Dada, Jada, use the back door from now on, okay?
I think that was her best performance in a film. Was as the mom in that movie.
Well, she had to have some character to be Thanos' mom.
Oh, so this is the murder of Rom from Deep Space Nine. He was on an away mission from DS9 when he did, and ended up being killed by a guy that looks just like Rondo Hutton.
Well, if you remember, the Ferengis traveled back in time to the days of World War II.
By the way, I wrote a fan fiction story all the way back in 92, 93, where a runabout crash lands in the middle of the desert, and it's got what do you call it, binars on board, and they're the ones that get injured and are left on the ship while the rest of the crew go out, including Worf, trying to hide in 1947 June of Roswell, New Mexico. Hey, she's getting all bent out of shape.
He must have chosen the red shirt on that.
Yeah, red shirt. Yeah, we just did Goonies last weekend, was it? That was
2
fun.
weeks. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
By the way, did you know that Bill Sanderson, that's him there, he's a friend of mine, him and his wife Sharon, great people. I can't figure out how to get them on the show because they have no technology, not even a mobile phone. All they have is a landline. Like, how the fuck do I get them on the show?
Well,
and there's a way of doing it because I did it with Mikey Sutton. I'm eventually going to get him on. But do you know that he got his big break in a horror film that's considered so vile that they won't allow it on TV? Or on VHS, they refuse to put it on VHS. Oh, well, fuck you, Martin.
Which movie?
Martin left. I got to look it up real quick. William Sanderson. And I just learned this yesterday about William Sanderson. I've known him for years and never knew this about him, that he was in this movie that came out way, way, way back in the 70s that they refused to put out on VHS. Where he and a bunch of criminals take a black family hostage. And at the end, the black family, because his character's racist. And so they end up getting back at him, and I think they torture and kill him at the end. Yeah, here it is. I think it's, Savage Weekend. That might be it. No, it might not be the one. Crap. I thought it was. It is not. Hold on. This one? It's one of these three. So let me look at them real quickly. No, that's not it. Found it. 3 escaped convicts hold a black minister and his family hostage, forcing them to fight for their lives. And it came out in 1977. And he did this movie before he got his big break, which was Coal Miner's Daughter. In Coal Miner's Daughter, he played Loretta Lynn's uncle, the weird one. The weird one that you suspect is into family. But he's so good in this role here. Oh, I was just reading about, it was another one of those banned horror films, and I think it's Zombie, the Italian produced horror film
Mm-hmm.
where you have zombie versus shark, and they actually injured the sharks for the movie shots. They drugged them and then allowed the actors in the zombie makeup to bite into them and wrestle with them. And they were injured in the making of that film. And that led to more stringent rules with animals. So, yeah, this is another one. Charged with Life Brigade is the one he brought up. What is that beep sound?
It's Discord, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Discord.
Mhm.
Is it coming from you? I think it is. I'm going to edit
No,
my
I got it.
settings.
Shut
You
up.
got it? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blade Runner connections. Always finding them.
Yep.
So the two connections in this is the Ennis Brown house and William
Sebastian.
Sanderson, who played J.F. Sebastian.
And he finally made some friends.
They're my friends. I make them. They're toys. I make toys. We're not toys, Sebastian. We're living things, flesh. Fucking Blade Runner. I love that they did recreate this restaurant in the movie. It's based on a real location. And they also have the bulldog in the movie too, and I love that too. Hey, CJ Prime is here. What's up, buddy?
Hello, CJ.
There's another movie, if you guys remember, that caused a huge uproar for its gore, was the movie before he did Frighteners and then Lord of the Rings. There's this little horror film he did called, oh, good Lord, I just forgot it. It's Peter Jackson's horror film. And it's the scene where he takes the lawnmower and just starts going through the zombie monsters, just cutting them up with the lawnmower.
I would not know.
Yeah, that's what they're called in Britain. Yes, Reed. They're called video nasties. There you go. You know what I'm talking about. These were movies that were deemed as unfit for public consumption. And in England, they called them video nasties. Yeah, Brain Dead. Thank you. That is a fun movie.
It has another name. Brain Dead wasn't the original name.
Dead Alive. Yeah.
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive.
And there's no way he made that helmet with that radio casing. Man, that scene is so reminiscent of The Princess Bride. I cannot believe it.
Now, another face in this movie that I failed to mention is Jennifer Connelly. She is just so bloody gorgeous. And of course, the other guy in this that's kind of an unknown at the time is Billy Campbell. Now, I know there were a lot of actors up for this role, but the one I got excited about was that Bill Paxton was in the front running to take on the role. And I would have loved to have seen Bill Paxton in that role as Clifford.
Mm.
God, that female actress is so bad. This is making fun of Hollywood, giving roles to people who have zero talent because they're related to someone.
Yep. So just some of the big names that are in this fucking movie. John Polito is in it. He plays the guy that's the head of the flying troop thing. You've got Margot Martindale in this movie too. She plays the part of Millie, the lady that runs the cafe. You got Max again, Max Grodenchik, who plays Wilbur in this, who gets killed in the hospital. William Sanderson plays Skeets in it. Eddie Jones plays the mutton-headed guy at the cafe who screws up and forces Cliff to save the day when he dresses up like a clown and takes one of the planes and damn near gets himself killed, as well as other people. You got Ed Lauder, James Handy, who plays one of the other feds, Terry O'Quinn, Paul Sorvino, Alan Arkin, Timothy Dalton, Jennifer Connelly, and Billy Campbell. In fact, Billy is the only one probably in the main starring category that really was relatively unknown.
Yes, he was. And
sadly, his career didn't take off.
Yeah, they tried to make him a main man, just like they have tried with Taylor Kitsch, and those two guys with so much potential, their careers didn't take off. Not as they should have.
They fought for Billy Campbell because their bosses, the studio, they wanted a big name in that role, but they just thought he was perfect for it, and I think they're right. So his career should have taken off after this.
He was a really good actor, and what I knew him from in the 80s was two shows: Crime Story, because he played one of the detectives in the show, and he was also the amazing Okona, wasn't it? The amazing Okona in Star Trek Next Generation, the good-looking pirate.
Was him?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh,
that's him. So you got two connections to Star Trek here: Deep Space Nine and Next Generation. Now I love this because he leans against a fucking set wall and takes the whole thing down and almost gets the leading actor.
That would have put a quick end to the plot.
Yeah.
If this guy.
I somehow think, Slasher Fred, that scene was inspired by this movie, or this scene in the music video, Oh Sherry. I liked that show too, Erie, Indiana. It was a good show. The Outrageous, that was it. The Outrageous Okona. I remember him as that role, and I'm like, who is this guy? He's fucking cool. He's Star Trek's Han Solo.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you there's an unknown actor in this movie. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I can even pronounce his name correctly.
Welcome to my life.
It's Robert Miranda, like Miranda rights. And he plays one of the gangsters that works for Paul Sorvino in this. But he's also more remembered as the Italian that doesn't speak English that gets killed at the cabin in The Untouchables by I think it's it's Kevin Costner kills him. And he's on the front porch and Sean Connery grabs his dead body and acts like he's alive and puts a gun in his mouth and blows the back of his head off. Same actor. Yeah, I remember him. He's in the first one, isn't he, on TNG? The first time you meet him, he's one of the Ferengi. Yeah, they looked for the
when I watched
they looked for the ugliest actors to play Ferengi.
Yeah, you can't be pretty and play Ferengi.
Well, he looks better than Shimmerman. I can tell you that.
Shimmerman is the only Ferengi actor that you actually recognize in real life when he's not wearing the prosthetics. You know who he is.
Iman Shimmerman, good actor.
Yep, I really like him.
He ended up on another show, I think, playing a cop.
I've seen him in a couple of.
And he was in Buffy. He was the school principal for the first 3 seasons.
That's right. He's in Buffy.
I never watched that show. I've had friends try to get me to watch it. I just won't do it.
It's fun. I mean, Angel is much better, but it had a couple of really good characters. Spike, one of my all-time favorite vampires.
Yes.
And it has a musical episode that's actually good.
That's actually one of my favorite episodes, Alpha. I do too, Gambit, but guess who didn't like that movie?
I couldn't make it through it. It just did not work with me. I was bored. Like I'm sitting through movies that I really don't like because they are silly funny, but this one was just, oh man.
And the irony is she loves Top Secret, which is made by the same guys who did Airplane and did Naked Gun.
I never made it through Naked Gun either. I lasted 10 minutes and then I decided to do something better with my evening.
How dare you?
There you go, Gambit. You tell her.
Yeah, you call me a heathen every other day.
I do. I call her. I said, you uneducated heathen.
We get almost 3 years now, and still I surprise him when I say, I don't know who that is, or I don't know that. I have never seen that. Sometimes it really gets him. He drops
Hey,
everything.
Castellar. Good to see you again.
Darkman is such a weird film for me because I like it and I don't like it. I love it, but then I don't love it. It's one of those films. One, it's got Liam Neeson in it, and that is why it will always be on one of my favorites list. But there's so many things about it that I didn't like. But at the same time, I really do enjoy the insanity of that fucking movie. There he is. He's all like shaking now, waving at everybody.
I have likes and dislikes about Darkman, but the dislikes vastly outweighs the like. So
I think mine is evenly balanced. I'm sure they're probably over the same things. But Darkman is a film that I do want to do sometime because I know there's a huge fan following.
Oh, I love
and I've always said, man, we need to talk about films people want to hear, not just the ones we want to talk about.
I love this moment when he salutes the passengers in the airliner and shuts off the rocket.
The button is in his hand and he salutes them. Now, this is an image for people who grew up in my era that I remember these clotheslines. I remember as a kid, we couldn't afford a dryer. So what we had on our washer downstairs in the basement of the house as a kid had one of those fucking ringers that you would press the clothing through and then you would go hang them up. And I remember getting my finger pinched in one of those things too.
Ouch.
Yeah, like I said, there's no such thing as common sense. There's learned things. You learn.
Yeah.
There are certain things that come naturally to us, like a growling animal does not instill you with an interest of playing with it.
Yeah, like I said earlier,
but
that's basic intelligence.
But you don't know an iron is hot until you touch it.
Well, you have to make the experience what hot feels like.
Well, there's primal
maybe
stuff involved with
great.
this. Oh,
Hi,
if we are,
Raiders.
it's probably
It's
from
Mephisto.
Mephisto. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love this
The
scene
Raiders.
where
No, not Meph.
he takes the helmet off and he says, I like it.
Love it.
After almost dying. He's crazy.
It's one of my favorite movies. Clifford? I love the way he says his name. Now, we did bring that up earlier. I think it was Gambit that brought that up, that after this, we saw a run. Because this movie and Batman, we saw a run on doing old serial movies into film. One was The Shadow, which I do like that film, but I still believe it was massively mishandled. And the next one was a badly mishandled movie, The Phantom. It looks so good and it's so bad.
I would like to see a movie about the Shadow without the campiness.
Absolutely. I would like to see the original Shadow, the way he was represented, the Shadow that inspired Bob Kane and Bill Finger for Batman. I mean, it's why he carried a pistol in the first issues of Batman in Detective Comics. Batman carried a fucking 45.
Two of them, if I recall correctly.
This is the scene where he gets his name, because the newspaper people try to find a name for him. And then one of them looks out of the window and sees the Pioneer logo and calls him the Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
And of course, Cliff likes it.
It's John Polito, in fact, who does that.
I do too. Those two movies are connected because of that one actor that played Dr. Giggles. And we lost him young too. He died. It was sad. Yeah, that's a great scene where he says, "You steer, I'll push."
And that rocket has endless fuel. I don't think they refuel it once.
Hey, we have Shanatsky.
Hi, Shan.
Hey, buddy. It's Saturday. Why aren't you here?
Yeah.
Because he's doomed.
Doomed. I'll never make it, Gulliver.
You need to be on here more often, Shan.
Yeah, but you know.
I love the Shadow radio shows. When I was a kid, every once in a while, they would play them on Sundays on WFVA. That's the radio station where I got hired and then immediately fired and then hired back.
What did you do?
I've told you about this, where Dick Rossi didn't like the commercial I did.
I forgot about that.
Everybody else liked it. Everybody else laughed at it. Charlie and I did a commercial together, and it was fucking funny. But Dick Rossi, when he heard it coming into the station that morning, pulled it, and there's the makeup that he fucking made for this. Rick Baker.
Shen!
Now I know you're lying. You're actually pretending to be happy to see me, Martin.
I'm always happy to see you.
I am too.
I always think he's kind of a phony, Chinatsky.
Yep. I love you too, Gary.
Well, you know I love you.
No, he was talking about me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was talking about Martin, not you. He's the phony. I am not excited about this because the last sequel he made was really bad.
Same people as History of the World Part 2. It's not going to be good.
I want to go back to that shot of the Rondo.
And they recasting the.
There, look at that makeup Candy. He did. Look at that makeup.
The rocket.
He starts laughing. It's so creepy.
Oh, Blank Man. I like Blank Man.
Well, how about just one movie, combine the two and call it Meteor Blank Man? Or Blank Meteor Man. Yeah, I will never watch either of those fucking movies, the sequels.
There was a reason Mel Brooks retired after, was it Dracula Den Loving It? I think he realized I don't quite have it anymore.
Well, what he was good at was building good writing teams. And that was it. And then he started doing all the writing himself. And it's like, somebody says, well, he was a great writer on Get Smart. And I'm like, no, Buck Henry was. Buck was the one that wrote all the comedy for that.
Yeah, I think it's that he made sure his name was front and center. So even though people are credited, Mel Brooks is what we associate.
He absolutely was a funny guy, but he was really good at shtick. He wasn't really good at the long game. And that's why he needed guys that were better writers than him. Oh, who did we just lose?
Steven.
Yeah, was it Zucker, the guy that did Airplane and a whole bunch of others. Like, he's doing the rounds on the internet finally, and he's like has a really in-depth perspective when it comes to comedy. Like to a philosophical level, it's really interesting to go over what he's talking about.
Look, all those guys, the Zucker brothers and Abrams, they were fucking smart dudes. And by the way, Anima found this out because I forgot that in real life, Billy Connelly and Billy Campbell and Jennifer Connelly fucking dated for a few years.
They were engaged. They got together during this movie and stayed together for 5 years until they broke their engagement. So that chemistry is real between them. And she's gorgeous. I know Gary had the hots for her.
And this, by the way, I'm trying to remember if it was this film. I'm going to double check real quick here because I don't want to say something and be even partially incorrect on it. I'm looking. Yes. Okay. This was the gift he got for not coming back as Bond doing this movie. I thought was interesting.
Oh man. Here are the gangsters looking for Clifford.
Be careful, Clifford. The way he says Clifford, it's just like Clifford.
It's just so funny.
Well, he's got almost a Chicago accent. There he is. That's the gangster actor I was talking about. That's in The Untouchables. It dies twice in the movie.
Oh, that is not the Toxic Avenger.
I don't like him anymore. Fucking little guy.
Yeah, but apart from that, that is not toxic.
He cost dwarf actors work doing what he did. And he should be ashamed of himself.
Where did Stephen go?
I don't know. He says, be right back. So he must be occupied.
Could be his connection too.
So I am not a big fan of the Return of Swamp Thing, except for one thing. The costume is so much better. And that's the costume they pretty much use for the TV series too. And I really hated the costume they made for the first Swamp Thing movie. Love the movie. Hate that fucking suit. It's just really god awful. But that was also, in my opinion, the most comic accurate version of Swamp Thing.
And you have Adrienne Barbeau, so what else can you ask for?
Exactly.
Oh, he destroyed his own career by being a dickhead.
Oh no, Reed. That is unfair. He wasn't bad as Ghost. The thing is, the other guy was better.
I will take both of you guys' answers. Loved Young Frankenstein. It's one of his best films because it was one of the true amalgamations of two great minds working together. The better writer with what is the guy's name? Played young Dr. Frankenstein, and his writing is so good, and then of course the direction of Mel Brooks, because Mel Brooks is a very good director. He's not a very good writer.
Gene Wilder. How can I forget his name?
Yeah, Gene Wilder. Fucking brilliant. The guy was brilliant. Look, Peeve, I'm sorry. They got her. I gotta save my girl. Well, be careful, Clifford.
There's a really interesting story with Max Brooks. He basically could no longer watch the History Channel because his son would be watching it. As soon as Hitler would come on, he'd go, "Grandpa," because Mel Brooks loves doing the whole Hitler mustache thing.
Right.
Don't say that name.
Oh, Hitler.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't like that.
Yeah, there was a video game, NES video game back in '91. I played it. It was okay.
Oh, there was also an SNES one. They were all pretty bad.
I remember one of the other movie tie-in video games I actually did like was Predator 2. That was a fun video game.
Really? I just remember the one that they based on Predator was pretty, it was an insane game. You'd be going around and then suddenly the Predator, you'd be attacked by a giant Predator head.
Hey, I like My Cousin Vinny. Not a big fan of Sister Act. I've never really liked Whoopi Goldberg. There was this film she did way back in the day that I liked called Burglar, which I thought was good. And then she was in this other one that was kind of halfway decent called Jumpin' Jack Flash. And both those films were it. After that, I can't stand her in anything.
I don't like her either, but I had fun with Sister Act.
Yeah, Sister Act was a lot of
friendship
fun.
with Vicky Rhodes, I want to do The Color Purple. But for me, the best thing in Color Purple was Oprah Winfrey and Danny Glover. And I didn't like Whoopi in it. I just don't like her as an actor. I just don't think she's very good.
I don't like her TNT.
I don't know. I like her acting when she's not trying to do comedy. When she's doing
she's not very funny.
No, it's not at all.
Like when she pretended to be a woman pretty enough to go out with Ted Danson. That was some good acting.
Guinan. I do remember liking her a lot as Guinan back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Oh man, Kassler, go check. We did Starman. Very good film. I prefer it over E.T.
Yeah.
Now she's on the actual album for this movie. She did 3 full songs on the soundtrack album.
She has a good voice.
Yeah, when she's talking to Riker about how, hey, you gotta stop acting like you're going to die because it's going to destroy the morale of the crew, which is already on edge because they're probably going to die from the Borg. But if you want any hope of actually winning, you gotta be the captain. You can't just...
Yeah, that was a character that I liked and hated because she was created as a character solely because of who she was. And I didn't like that.
And the character doesn't make sense.
Her character,
How is she this all-knowing being? And what's her job on the ship? Fucking bartending? Really?
it was just kind of goofy. It was one of those things where her character really makes no sense. But I do like her relationship with Picard. But that's why she's on the shows, because in real life, she was friends with Patrick Stewart.
No,
I love
like
this scene because it's like he has no clue this guy is clearly wearing a monkey suit at the wrong size. He's like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade when he puts on that fucking waiter's jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Ticket, please.
I love how her character goes from being absolutely starstruck to realizing what an asshole he is and then trying to outsmart him. Because she realized that Cliff is the real thing, the real hero.
Yes, she was Soul Assassin. She was in that. Which I find ironic that she played a hyena.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be John Wayne. And John Wayne opted out because of, well, he was sick. And so Harrison Ford took the role. If he had taken it, it would have been his last role before dying. And
that would have been a very different movie. It's like, well, now
I don't think it would have been
here.
as funny. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think it would have been as funny. And again, by the way, this is the first team up between Disney and Industrial Light and Magic. And there he is, that fucking giant guy. Who played him, by the way? I'm going to go, there's 321 photos. I'm going to look for a photo of him.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck you just said. You were so good with the laugh that I couldn't understand the words.
I said, yes, Alpha.
Ah.
Because he's mirroring a question before that it wasn't if Whoopi was one of the hyenas on Lion King, and he said, yeah, he said Whoopi one of the hyenas on The View.
Oh, that hurts. I'm in physical pain from that. If I die, avenge me.
Don't tell me you like The View.
No, it was that statement was that painful. I'm like, it might just kill me.
Oh my God. This is another Star Trek connection. The guy who plays the big ugly giant is Tiny Ron, who is also on Deep Space Nine. And he played a giant in that one. His name is Tiny Ron, which I suspect that first name Tiny is just because he's a fucking giant. He played the Mountain in Roadhouse, the original. He played Jacko the Giant in Bruce Willis's Last Man Standing. And he played Rock in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. So apparently he's a giant.
One
they
actor I like to
destroyed that fucking club. Destroyed
Yeah.
the club.
And they wanted to make the scene way bigger, but they didn't have the budget for it.
Hey, Mike.
I did like that movie, Dope Dish. I like that movie.
My favorite review of Ace Ventura is it is the birth of a nation for the trans community. I'm like, seriously? Apparently Mary's the
Mikey's
Antichrist.
Here. Hi, Mike.
Yeah. Hi, Mikey.
This is one thing that annoys me in movies. They never show the side effects of what's it called?
We are doing that movie. We're going to do Blowout too. I like the movie Blowout with Nancy Allen, and she is fun in Strange Invaders. And Strange Invaders, if it makes you feel like you're watching another version of Critters, it's because a lot of the same production people. It has the same feel. It has one actor in it that was in Critters too. Love Strange Invaders.
Weird movie series.
Strange Invaders, god damn, man. That's the film I was talking about where they created that fleshy stomach, like stretched out latex. They discovered how to make that, and they used it for when they had to peel off their skin, the aliens, for that movie. Really well done. Very low budget B movie sci-fi. It was done intentionally to feel like an old 50s sci-fi film.
I just love that they end up solving the farmer's problem at the end because they have to eject their waste and all the crops just magically grow.
Yeah. Oh yes. Good movie. Also, another good movie, One Crazy Summer. I have that movie, and I am a fan of that movie. Well, where's Ranker at? I think is he busy? We got a half hour left. I can send him an invite.
Who?
Ranker Steve.
I don't think I've ever been on a panel with him, so that would be fun.
Yes, you have.
I have?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. That's why she tricks him. Hits him over the head with a vase.
Ding.
Yeah. Then she walks out and says, I finally had my scene with him.
Yep. Another film I like that we've talked about doing is 1941. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, Treat Williams. What a cast. It's Steven Spielberg's flop. But I still like the movie. John Belushi. Here's another weird one. I've never seen The Wraith. I have many times tried to watch it and just end up getting involved with other stuff, and so it never happened.
The Wraith?
Not a fan of Charlie Sheen.
Oh, Wraith.
One I had the biggest trouble watching was The Godfather. Like I literally would go to the video store, it was checked out, and then one time when we rented the DVDs, sat down, popcorn ready, everything starts playing, black screen, start hearing that horn, and the DVD was scratched and it just wouldn't play.
Roadhouse 2? I don't care. That movie doesn't need a sequel.
It didn't need a remake either.
Not interested in that.
Yeah,
and ironically, still didn't make money.
one of the weirder sequels that some people did was there's a Showgirls too.
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you on Ace Ventura, the better film is the first film, but the funnier film is the second film. I laughed so hard for the rhino scene, I blacked out.
Yeah, the rhino scene is, I mean, for cinematic comedy
I
gold.
couldn't fucking breathe. I was laughing. Jim Carrey is the only comedic actor to make me black out laughing. And it's twice. He did it with that one, with that scene in particular. And then he did it again with Me, Myself, and Irene during the bathroom scene where he starts pissing all over the place.
I think my favorite scene in Ace Ventura 2 is when he keeps getting hit with spears and they just keep throwing them. He's like, to see like him doing he's just like he keeps switching octaves. It's great.
That was funny.
Or when he gets into the fight with the was it crocodile or alligator? I forget which it was.
I can't remember. And he did something because the script was so bad and he hated it. And he said, this is a cash grab movie, you know, and he didn't like that. And so he did a lot of improv in the film. And one of the best fucking improvs in that film is when he's driving along in the Congo and fucking starts singing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It was not in the script at all. And the other actor just went with it, just sitting there quietly as he's singing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang from the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, one of my favorite jokes in that is when he goes in the room because the other person loves animals, quote unquote, and he just starts freaking out, like screaming. And then as he walks out, it's like, "Are you all right, Mr. Ventura?" "Yes, nothing's wrong. Next room of death."
Yeah, the one thing he hated too, he hated the whole fear of bats thing. And he said that he railed against it and he got overruled.
Well, they wanted to like basically it's like, oh, we gotta give him something to overcome. It's the same thing that happened to like Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2. They suddenly introduced, oh, by the way, Marty has a character flaw that he doesn't like people calling him chicken.
Gotta remember that. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that when I was a kid, and it is scary. But look, man, Fantasia scared the shit out of me as a kid. That movie was traumatizing.
Didn't they reference Bela Lugosi for like they brought him in and he did the movements for Bald Mountain?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I've seen pictures of him like doing the thing, and then there's comparison with the movements. So
let's see. The Great Outdoors, good film. Adventures in Babysitting is a fun film. It deserves a sequel. And Running Scared absolutely should have got a sequel. Anima enjoyed that movie.
Oh, and if you do get a chance, look at the behind the scenes for The Little Mermaid, because they actually show the actress in the animation that reference her performance, and it's like literally it is Ariel there in real life.
Science tip. You can tell science tip. You can tell an alligator from a crocodile by paying attention to whether it sees you later or in a while.
Oh my god.
I like that one.
we need Bush to recreate the pond fights.
Yeah.
Now
Okay,
he's
I'm
into
gonna get
something darker.
this is for that joke. Ready?
Do it. Do it now.
And of course, this is Martin's favorite.
She says, "Who is Johnny?"
This is great because anybody who knows the
I
history,
didn't see any.
that's the spruce goose. And I love the line, well, I'll be damned. It will fly. And this scene when he lands on top of the observatory, is a nod to that cover art of him doing the same pose with the same pistol. Fucking Mauser. 1899 broom handle.
I do kind of wish they were able to get the rights to Doc Savage just so they could have it be that he was the one who built the rocket.
By the way, Troll is a good film. Troll 2 is trash. I agree. Terrible movie.
Troll 2 is amazing trash.
Yep, you got the rim shot, buddy.
Like the first time I was watching Troll 2, I was riffing on it, and then things that start to riff at complete random start happening in the movie. It was one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had because I was making like Spinal Tap jokes, and I just start seeing Stonehenge at one point, and then I got to the end of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck?
Get ready. This is the big turn. Because he addresses the mobster. And this is where he says that one line that fucking makes someone go, wait, what's the kid talking about? Yahtzees.
He's so good as a villain.
And he tickled you when he spoke really good German. There it is, right there.
Yeah, that was not bad. I mean, it was different, but he really tried it, right?
Be hilarious if there was just an.
Oh my god, everything just froze. I just thought StreamYard would kick me again. But then you guys came back.
Yeah, that happened to me yesterday.
This
Well,
is
I
where
couldn't get
Timothy Dalton proved that he could play a villain, which is why he was so good in 1923, which had a terrible final season. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I love Timothy Dalton in Hot Fuzz. That's one of my favorite performances of him.
Oh my god, yeah. The whole fight scene with the miniature village scene is one of my favorite moments. And remember that animal when he falls on the church steeple and it goes up through the bottom of his jaw up through his mouth, and he's like, and he goes, it really hurts.
I need some ice cream. Don't worry, there's plenty of ice cream back at the station.
I love that movie so much, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, I've always liked the Red Skull as a character, and I always like the Joker, but yeah, I don't like when they do stuff like that. So I agree with you, Reed.
I've kind of gotten sick of them just because they're used way too much.
Oh, they're just way too much. Yeah. So I like Project X with Helen Hunt. Yeah, we just did that one, Kessler. It was fun. I like that movie. It's full of shit, but I love the movie.
Hey, Martin, I need you to take your hiccups back. I don't like them.
What?
I have the hiccups now. Take them back. I don't want them.
Oh. What?
You gave her an HTD.
Oh
my god. You're forcing my hand.
Don't make me punish you, Martin.
I love this action scene. When it gets up on that fucking Zeppelin, dude.
They did such a great job making it look like he really flies. It's a dummy.
I love the wrap up.
You can't tell.
Well, it's the animated miniature, which was fully articulated. And that's the pose right there. That fucking pose was a nod to the movie, the graphic novel comics, and I've got the image here. It's on the thumbnail. Oh wait, that is not the thumbnail that
Man,
I
I'm
put
so
up.
glad they went for the comic book look because somebody came up with the idea of giving him an astronaut helmet.
Martin, stop changing the
But-
thumbnails when I add them.
What? I haven't changed anything.
Oh, we have Ranko Steve in the chat.
Yes,
Usually
Ranko.
it's been
I
here from the
invited him.
beginning.
I invited him to join us. I sent you an invite.
Isn't he in the group too?
No.
I thought he was in one of the bigger groups on Twitter.
No, he's not allowed in that group because he's too bitchy.
Oh, I see.
I'm kidding. I don't know what. If he wants to be in that group, I'll add him. Join us. I sent you an invite. This is the thumbnail right there. And I put that drawing because that's on one of the covers for the Rocketeer comics. I love that Dave Stevens artwork.
Ranko, I just sent you an invite on Facebook Messenger.
I sent him an invite too. I already sent him an invite.
Oh well, he's explaining. He was working.
Yeah, he's off 6 days a week and only works one. Kind of like my ex-wife. She was built backwards. She was friendly 3 days a month and a bitch 28 days a month.
So with her, it was 28 days later.
Yeah, it's basically it's an old joke. I didn't realize there was a lot of pinup style art in the comics. I wonder if they did a new film, whether it should be aimed at older teens and up. Look, I don't think they should keep with the Betty Page look. I really don't like the cheesecake aspect, but the movie should have more of a PG-13. Doesn't need to be an R-rated unless they want to get gory with the violence. But the fact is, I think this is a solid story, even if adapted from the comic books, a solid PG-13, where they can have a little bit of language. And didn't you say he was, there's the gum. That's where he pulls the gum off the rocket. So now it's leaking the alcohol fuel. But didn't you say something about that guy being Austrian, that German actor that played the captain?
He did sound a little bit Austrian. It was very neutral, but that's usually Austrian actors.
I fucking loved him on Penny Dreadful. I loved season 1. It kind of fell apart after that, but I really loved season 1.
I never saw.
Well,
Penny
when
Dreadful.
Disney started talking about Girl Boss, that it would be a girl, I was out. I lost all interest in it.
Yeah, last I heard, they were doing one where it was a black girl or something was going to be the new Rocketeer.
Yeah, just I didn't care what the race was. What I cared about was just the crappy idea. This is so good because the race to get out of this Zeppelin, it's of course echoes what happened with the real Zeppelin, the Hindenburg.
This one is called the Luxembourg. It wasn't nice.
Lonnie, Jenny. It was acting.
And then he dies a spectacular death when the rocket lights up.
And of course, they do throw that into him just like catching fire. I love that. But it destroys the land on Hollywood land. So instead of being the fire and earthquake, it was fucking Timothy Dalton's villain. Yeah, we did that this last Wednesday, right? Equilibrium?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Kessler. If you didn't know that, we just did Equilibrium. I love that little movie. It's weird and doesn't make sense, but if you check your brain at the door, you have a good time. Now, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part because now they're on top of it. It's the fire is moving down the length of the shaft of the Zeppelin, and then they run into big fucking bad guy again in the makeup, and he goes, oh shit, and he turns to run with them and forgets he's tethered to the fucking Zeppelin. So
yeah. He is.
Great fucking ending to this movie. I fucking love this ending so much. Run, Ginny. Oh, you needed to tell her to run? And of course, I have this something similar to this. Like one of the earliest helicopters used. This is not it exactly, but there was a helicopter a lot like this. Gyro copter, they called it. And I used it in my Indiana Jones script that I sent, that Tom, Richard Bonk, and I worked on, and sold the idea to Dark Horse, only to find out they couldn't produce it for unknown reasons. He said, we can't explain, but we really liked it. They loved the story and the artwork. And come to find out, it's because ILM sold, that they couldn't do it.
Damn.
They were no longer licensed to work on any of the, Lucasfilm properties. I said ILM, it's Lucasfilm, sorry. So this is great. They run past him and he turns, is like, got his hands up, like, oh, it's great. I fucking love this. Classic feel to this movie. It's true. It's why it went down so quickly. Like a girl from New Jersey.
Oh, God. Speaking about
Hey,
sour.
Big Al.
Big Al.
Hi, Big Al.
Hi, Big Al. Now she knows who the real hero is. They're so sweet together.
Bulldog Cafe.
I like that place. That's definitely a place I would go to. Jamie G is here. And Lady Mist.
People.
Hello, people.
Yeah, that is exactly the same plane, just repainted. Hey, Jamie G. Good to see you.
It's worth a rewatch. It's so much fun.
And of course, the real Bulldog Cafe stood for a long time. And I do believe it was used in this movie. That wasn't a set they created. I think that was the real one. And eventually, I'm not sure what happened to it. Who did we just lose? Martin.
Again. Yeah, he said they have a lot of storms right now, and that always knocks it out. The electricity. And he's back.
Yeah, the original location was 1153 West Washington Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. It was a takeout restaurant. It was torn down in 1955. A recreation was built for the 1991 Disney movie, The Rocketeer. I'm a fan of mimetic architecture, which is a real form of architecture, where a building mimics something in real life. In this case, a bulldog. And It had the little corn pipe and everything. So here, let me see if I can share it with you real quick. This is a photo of the real place. And I remember when this movie came out, I'm like, oh, I want to go see that, only to find out that it doesn't exist anymore. Now you show up at the end. Good one, Ranker Steve.
Oh, it's the end? Oh, see you later, guys.
Yeah. We've been at it for almost 2 hours.
So let me remove that and add this to the stage. There you go. This is the real one. And it's not far from Tarzana. I mean, where it used to be. But that was the real place. And I love that they have that in the movie.
I want to go there.
Yeah, the real place is gone. It got torn down in 55. It's sad.
Wow. That's not cool.
It's sad, yeah.
It's a bygone era, and it's called mimetic architecture, where the architecture mimics something else, often an animal.
Yeah. So who didn't like Rocketeer?
I don't think anybody here. I fucking love that movie, and I love the comic book as a kid too.
Yeah, it was my dog is all wanting my attention. Holy crap! Because there was a moment of silence. I was like, so who hated Rocketeer? And I was expecting some people like, I didn't hate Rocketeer, not me.
Yeah, it's just I think it's a fantastic movie.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It is my two top favorite Disney live action movies was this movie and the one we did yesterday.
What was the one that you did yesterday?
John Carter.
Anybody? There you go.
Oh, I really love that movie.
What a great movie.
Disney and Bob Iger fucked that movie because I try to explain to people, if you go online and look for the explanation of what happened, they blamed it on the new guy doing the marketing. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
What happened was, it's the same shit that Alan Ladd Jr. did to Damnation Alley, where he took money that was allotted to the movie for marketing, or in that case, visual effects. But in this case, Bob Iger had money set aside to market the film once it hit theaters. Pulled that money and gave it to George Lucas to buy Star Wars.
Now, here's a question I have for you guys, because even though Rocketeer is a comic book movie, where do you rank this as a comic book film? I'm always curious.
I would put it in my top 20 best comic book to movie adaptations. Because what I liked that Disney did is they cleaned it up. Because Dave Stevens was fixated with tits and ass.
Oh,
really was.
I have a lot of his comics.
Yes, Betty in the comic book, based on Betty Page, is really not a very good person. She's really not. And so it makes Cliff Secord kind of a cuck in the comics. And I didn't like that. So I prefer the way they changed it for the movie to make her an actress and change her name too to Ginny. What I think is funny is her that's Jennifer Connelly playing Ginny. Jenny. Hey, Jenny. So, and he seems less cuckified.
Yeah, it's, to me, this is the second greatest comic book movie ever made. The first one is Iron Man because it's done perfectly, but to me, this was, as a kid, that was what was cool. It was, everyone wanted a rocket pack. Even though
I would definitely put it in my top. I would put it in my top 10. I would not have it that high up because for me, still the greatest comic book movie is Superman the movie. Second is Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. Third is The Dark Knight, followed by Batman Begins, followed then by Iron Man, the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
I might put Rocketeer right after that. I think that's a safe place for it.
Man, I wish I wasn't working today so I could talk more about this, because this is my all-time favorite movie. This is my childhood movie here. It's
How old were you when it came out?
I always get the year wrong. I was born in 87. It was what, 90. Crap. When was this movie?
1991. I was in the military.
I was 4 years old. But growing up, this was a movie that it captivated me on why I want to do movies, why I enjoy. There was just something. Also, Jennifer Connelly kind of, sucked you into.
She was something else. Yes.
Oh God. It's
come on, Steve. You have to show that helmet.
Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah. Let me pull it out.
There you go. Oh man. Nice.
So this was
That's
given
gorgeous.
to me as a gift for Christmas a few years ago. I don't want a second Rocketeer movie to be made. I know they want to talk about it. I've talked to my brother, and he said, yeah, they want to do a second one. They just don't know how to do the second movie. And they've done the animated TV show. It didn't do so good. But yeah, this helmet here, I can wear it. It's cool. Even though I think it's casted from the actual Scott helmet, and it's awesome. I adore it so much, and it's collected a lot of dust, that's for sure. But
all right, Jamie G. We already covered Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Tom and I did it, so there's the link in the chat for you to go watch that. It was a fun show.
There's also a whole genre of comic book movies that people don't know are comic books, like Road to Perdition or Old Boys, like one of my go-to examples. Most people don't realize, no, that was a comic first.
Yep. Wade, I don't recall seeing it. What was it?
Oh, this one, the last one.
Oh,
I don't know if I'll ever cover that, because even though I enjoyed it, it's not The Mummy to me.
It's not what to you?
It's not The Mummy. The Mummy to me is scary. And I'm a big fan of the original Universal The Mummy with Boris Karloff.
I know they want to bring that back.
I love History of Violence, and it is another movie adapted from a graphic novel.
Oh, I love that movie. The comics.
I consider that probably Cronenberg's best movie.
Yes, I really like the comics of that one.
Yeah, you get no argument from me on that, because I thought it was really good.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think with the Rocketeer, History of Violence, like these comic book movies or comic books that you don't know, do those, because it gives you freedom to do things. It gives you, like, the Rocketeer. The beauty about Rocketeer is, like, even the soundtrack, James Horner, which is one of my best favorite composers, he makes every song a character. And it gives you the freedom to do things. I remember Joe Johnston. He was like, dead set, we're not making a NASA-looking rocket pack for the Rocketeer. We want to keep it very much modern from that time. and it's, oh my gosh, he did such a fantastic job with that movie. Like, it was great.
Well,
And again, go ahead.
One nice thing that's happening is the next couple of years, couple characters finally go into the public domain. I'm not talking about Superman. I'm talking about the Shadow. I'm talking about, is Doc Savage in the public domain, or is he going to be soon? I'm trying to remember.
I think he went public domain a year ago, because Keith was talking about it on his show. But this is, just so you guys know, this was what inspired Dave to do the comic book character. Is Commando Cody, and the King of the Rocket Men, two separate serials done between 1948 and 1952.
That's so cool.
Yeah, what they pulled off in 48 and 52 is really fucking awesome.
Well, they were really creative in how they did some of the visual effects. Like, they would literally have, like, do forced perspective on models just to make it look like certain things were going on. Or even like Harold Lloyd.
Look at that right there. That miniature is really well done.
Or even some of Charlie Chaplin's setups were ridiculously impressive.
Oh, he's already got movies that are in the public domain already. Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, I'm talking about the visual effects that he would actually do, because most people didn't even realize they were there.
Read, the Phantom will be available in 2032. So you still have some time to wait.
Well,
so this is really cool, where he climbs up outside of the rocket. They call him a jet for some reason, but it's a fucking rocket. So he climbs.
I like that rocket pack.
Oh, I do. That's what inspired the rocket
It's
pack
cool.
for the comic and for the movie. And here we see him get up there, and this is kind of like the Luxembourg scene with the Zeppelin, and he jumps right off. That, of course, is rear screen projection. This is cool ass shit for its time period.
And of course, Harryhausen.
Look at that! Look at that!
That's a cool
Clearly,
shot.
we know it's a cable shot, but it fucking looks awesome.
Dude, that was a really cool shot. I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, man.
And that's what inspired this comic book that is now a movie. How we didn't get a sequel is beyond me.
Well,
it did halfway.
It didn't do well.
I know they wanted to do 2 more. They did. They wanted to do a trilogy. Disney did, and Joe Johnston was signed on to do 2 more, but it failed, because I think back then in the early 90s, no one was into comic book movies.
Because where it made its money back is in merchandise, and even though some of the merch was terrible, they had this bendable figure. It was just awful. Don't do bendable figures. Yeah, so did I.
I had it.
And I'd get so angry because the wire would snap, and then fucking legs and arms wouldn't work. Really dumb ideas. But they had some other stuff that was pretty cool. The costume was really cool that they sold for Halloween. But the problem was, or the good thing was, how much money it made in video on demand and home video sales and rentals. So they made their money back. But it was like, as I recall, it was like a $35 million, somewhere between that and $40 million. And it made almost $50 million. So sort of made its money back, but marketing wise, because they did market the shit out of this. It broke even at best, but it made its money back through video again. Love Time Bandits is absolutely on the list of because I love that movie too. Orion-IA, 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 Ule. Anybody that's a fan of the movie knows what that's from. Is Mandrake in the public domain? I wouldn't be surprised I'd be surprised if he wasn't, because he's been around for a long time. Mandrake the Magician.
After show's done, I'll talk to you about some of the stuff I'm doing, Steve. I just don't want to say anything.
Now I know Reed, Tom, and I can't remember. There's one more person that kind of challenged R&B today, because he says, going back to for James Bond to go back to the 60s, and I'm like, no, that is a good idea to reboot the franchise in the era that it took place. In fact, I would go back to OSS and have you meet him learning his trade in the OSS, fighting the Yazidis. And then the Cold War comes, and I would have the first film take place in the late 50s, after World War II, and have him, in MI6.
Absolutely,
I'm just telling
you. Sorry.
Sinbad, look, man, some people don't like his comedy, but I think he's pretty good.
I want him back.
I think they mean
you
the sailor.
son of a bitch. You almost made that.
Yeah, if you were drinking, you would have had a spit take on that one. Yeah, no, I love Sinbad the Sailor. I always enjoyed the movies, and I would like to see a proper comeback. They made a stupid Brad Pitt animated one that was terrible.
They did?
Anybody remember that? Anybody?
No.
I do.
Look it up.
I do. In part because I talked to
I don't want to look it up.
His friend worked on it, and he was basically like complaining about that they wanted to make one kind of movie, but basically DreamWorks had another. What was it? One of my animation teachers even was like, he constantly what was it? Katzenberg. He just would constantly harp on Katzenberg for fucking things up, like for Road to El Dorado, because it was supposed to be one kind of movie and ended up being another. Some people love that movie, but
there you go. Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. It was.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Brad Pitt is Sinbad. Joseph Fiennes is Proteus. Catherine Zeta-Jones is Marina. Michelle Pfeiffer is Eris. Tim West was in it. Played
That's
Diamond.
a good cast.
Yeah, it's a great cast. It was just bad. And let's see what score it got. It's got a 6.7, which is much better than it deserves.
It's much better than it deserves.
Tell us how you really feel, Gary.
Yeah. Who hurt you?
Look, Wade brought it up. El Dorado. They were trying to follow in the footsteps of El Dorado, and it was nowhere near as good. It flopped. So, yeah, show me on the doll where Sinbad hurt you.
See, it would have been really funny is if they started with Red El Dorado and then slowly turned into Agria, the Wrath of God. It's just like it's a fun family movie.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
Kosinski going insane.
Werner Herzog in it going, there's no point in sailing over the ocean. The ocean is just a reminder of our imminent demise.
And that's when he's happy. On account of
yes, I watched, and it was good the first season, and the second season okay. Then it became a soap opera, and I lost interest in it. Yeah, Sinbad needs to go back to what it started out as, is this adventure, trying to go someplace and then got to survive monsters.
I remember around the time of Xena and Hercules, I think it was even produced by them. They tried to do a Sinbad TV series in the same vein of Xena and Hercules. It didn't
Ray
last.
Harryhausen, what Ray Harryhausen did with Sinbad was incredible. And he set a standard that they need to try to live up to. What is it? I'm not sure what I understood you were talking about. This movie, you mean the one we're talking about with Sinbad?
No, Sinbad.
Yeah. Mid. Okay. So, but anyway, that's it. Sorry, Steve. Show up on time next time, bitch.
It's if I wasn't working on a Saturday, I would have been here, man. Seriously, I would have, dude. Oh god. Now I want to watch the movie again.
We got some good movies coming up.
Oh.
And yeah. So I'm going to add you to our group so you can join us, even if it's late because you have to work. You can hop in towards the end of the show. But just remember, the easiest way to remember how to get to our show.
I've got 5 terrorists going southeast on Bakalakadaka Street.
We are to the left of Bakalaka Street.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man. So you'll also appreciate this one. For those of you who don't like the Rocketeer.
Listen, fuckwad, so you can shut the fuck up, okay?
I see.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh my god. I do love this movie, The Rocketeer. It is my second favorite live action Disney film of all time.
It's up
Comic Relief Crusader, just noticed you were here.
Oh, now he decides to show up? Jeez, man.
Well, he was in the chat for a little bit. He told me, yeah, you need to get Steve on because Steve really likes Rocketeer. So that's why I sent you the fucking invite.
Okay.
Yeah, Durka Jihad. By the way,
you gotta review that movie.
A buddy of mine. Oh, we did Team America. We already did it.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah. So we have talked about redoing some films, like revisiting them, because there are some movies that were so good you should revisit them. But way back after 9/11, we heard that the federal boob inspectors were going to be listening in on phone calls due to that patriotic act. And so this artist buddy of mine and we would talk about stuff because we worked together. And he was in one town, I was in the other town, and we'd have to, coordinate the artwork we were doing together for billboards. And I did this great painting, and he posed for it of him being blown back by a computer screen promoting our company. And so anytime we would end a phone call, we would do that sort of thing, like we do ululation thing, and we do yell out jihad, jihad. And my boss got mad at me one time. He says, "You need to stop doing it on the work phone." Our company phone, I was doing it on. That shit was funny. I miss Craig. He was my boss. Good dude. Oh, you guys would love that guy. He was one of those old guys, smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day, talked like this. Rough old voice. Funny as shit. And I'll tell you one thing, Steve, before we go. One prank that I had pulled on me while I worked there. I owned a Slingline stapler, cream colored, not fire engine red. Just like in the movie Office Space, okay? And somebody took it from my desk. So I went around, just wanted to get it back. And it became a fucking joke in the office. Like, what are you looking for? My stapler. Can I get my stapler back? My stapler. My stapler. And they would do this to me. It lasted like 2 weeks. And finally I said, okay, fuck you guys. I'm not going to ask you anymore. I just expect you to return it to me. And over a month went by. And Craig called me into his office for a meeting, my boss. And we were getting ready to interview some new clients. And he wanted, my job was to sit in on these meetings and get a read on if these people were really interested in putting money into advertising or if it was a waste of time and effort. So I sat there talking to him about it. And then I said, yeah. I said, I still haven't gotten my damn stapler back. And he goes, oh, your stapler. And he got up, walked over to his closet, and it was up on the top shelf of his closet. He goes, yeah, I took it. And I went, you motherfucker. You had me believing it was Marshall and the other guys fucking with me, and it was you all along. He goes, yep, and they didn't know either. And I'm like, God, fuck you, dude. And I got my stapler. God, that was a horrible prank. That made me so mad. But there we are, guys. End of another fun show. We talked about another fun movie. Love this film. If you've never seen it, you ought to watch it sometime. It's a classic. It's got some great visual effects in it. A mixture between Disney and Industrial Light and Magic. And who else was involved with this one too? What other production company was involved with this?
Don't know.
I don't know.
It was Silver Screen's partners and Buena Vista Pictures Distribution, which was owned by Disney. And so that was it. And they did get Industrial Light and Magic to help with the visual effects on this, and which was easy for them to do because Joe Johnston, the director, already worked for Disney. I mean, Lucasfilm, because he was the sketch artist that drew all the vehicles and equipment in the movie Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. The what? Al Nickerson, man. There's a comic book motherfucker. Friend of mine. I love this guy. Really good dude. Outspoken. Have you ever met him?
Me?
Yeah.
I follow him. I don't know if we've talked to each other, but I follow his stuff.
He is on Facebook. Really good guy. Fucking, like so many conservative guys, man, got fucked by the comic industry.
Yeah. I know a few of the guys that are like, we don't have a job. We're like, why?
If you don't follow him, find him. It's Al Nickerson. Look him up on Facebook, dude. Follow the dude. He's a good dude. And Al, you need to come on the show sometime for some of these comic to film movies. Get your input on those as a panelist. Guest panelist. Come in here, talk some shit about these movies. So absolutely. Al, keep watching. Ranker Steve will hit you up on Facebook, buddy. And if you guys aren't following him, follow this guy. Good dude. Good dude. Solid. Yeah. We've had him on. Had him on as a special guest on Keith's show. But we are going to get out of here, guys. I don't care. I love Ranker Steve, but motherfucker needs to be here on time. Fuck having a job.
You know what? I have a life outside of streaming.
I
don't believe that at all. Not even at all.
I do something.
I don't think you even have a sex life outside of on YouTube. So
I love
Canadian Spider-Man. Tell me, no sex life.
Yeah,
he can tell you a difference between a man and a woman.
What, Shanatsky?
I love that every Friday, it seems, without fail, you start to ask where I am because you seem to forget that I have a job that I'm working at the same fucking time.
Well, I also remind myself. I go, oh, that's right. Yeah, he works till like the show is almost over. But anyway, before we go, this one's for Al.
And now a word from our sponsor, Gary's Wholesale Sausage Emporium. Are retail hot dog prices making you crazy? Come on down to Gary's for all your discount dog needs. Was this really the best we could do?
Blue Apron passed.
Okay. Let's get vulnerable, Langley. Let's get sexy. First caller gets 11 feet of Gary's signature summer sausage.
11 feet, man. All right, guys, we're going to get the hell out of here. I hope everybody has a great freaking day. It's the weekend, man. Have some fun. I want to thank Gambit, Penny, 11 Alpha, Keely Chow, Slasher Fred, Almighty Black Ass, 6, and thanks for the super chat. Sander Hammerschlag, Peter Vinkman Fansite, also known as Vinkman's Girl, Soul Assassin, Das Wolfen, Lady Mist, Read by Nature, CJ Prime, Castellar Daniel Garcia, Big Al Presents, Jamie G. Voltaic Blood, Railway Nation Gaming, Classic Comics, and of course, Al Nickerson. Thanks for everybody popping in, man. And I want to thank my panel with Deleted Scenes today, Shinatsky and Ranker Steve. And I want to thank Anima Confusa for tolerating me, and Martin for being the right side of my brain. Thanks, guys. Everybody want to say goodbye. Now's the time to do it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.